Parliament. Any questions to the Ambassador? Yes. Mr. Kartheiser, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President. I have questions and comments. I think the Ambassador said that we need a strong answer. I would agree with him, especially on the aspect of the respect for human rights. I think that, of course, people who go to the street should be able to do that peacefully and in an unthreatened way. It is my feeling, however, that we should make an appeal for responsible behavior, not only to the government, but also to some of the people who are in the streets, because I'm a little bit afraid that on the two sides, there might be people who would tend to employ violent means, and I think that we should, of course, encourage peaceful demonstrations. On the attitude to Georgia, I would like to be a little bit more, maybe introduce a little bit more nuance in the situation. I'm attentive to what the OSCE and observers are saying about these elections, and my feeling is that overall the statement about the elections is not as negative as one might often think here in the European Parliament or in other places in Europe. Overall, the electoral report tend to approve of the organization, even though there have been irregularities. Of course, there have been irregularities, and one should look into those, but not to an extent that is at least my feeling that one could say that these elections have been totally flawed or whatever. I think that we have to recognize them to their value and address the irregularities. But overall, Georgia is a country living in a difficult situation, and I think one should also say that there have been a lot of efforts to organize good elections. On the European path, again, I agree with, I would like to tell the Ambassador that I myself, I'm a professional diplomat before I went into politics, so I have a lot of sympathy with what you are doing. I understand the situation in which you are, and both of us probably understand also that there are the very complex situation in which Georgia is as a country, considering its aspirations, its neighbourhood and other criteria that we should take into account. And probably as Europeans, we should also have a very responsible attitude in that sense that we should not put oil in a fire. So we should be careful in order to preserve also Georgia's interest, and we should be helpful and not perhaps putting Georgia in a situation where it's been torn between different actors, regional and other actors, and make the situation even more difficult, more dangerous, and as what it is nowadays. So we should try to be helpful, to understand Georgia, to support Georgia, and if they would like to have a pause in their European process, we should do the best of it and try during the 4 years that the Ambassador mentioned to show what we can do as European Union, even if the path, maybe this integration path, is slower over the next years. But I think that the Georgian government also has indicated that it's not coming to a full stop, and they are basically committed to carrying on, but maybe at a slower pace, and after a pause, a re-evaluation. So we should be responsible, and during this phase of re-evaluation, tell the Georgians, show the Georgians, and prove to the Georgians that we are respectful partners to the Georgian people and want to support them, whatever circumstances can arise. So that is basically what I would like to say. I think we have been seeing over the years in other countries, in other situations, much worse elections than those that we have seen now in Georgia. And I think that we should, as Europeans, not make the situation even worse, but be supportive and show understanding, and still consider Georgia as our partners and possible candidates for adherence, even if the situation for the time being is clearly a little bit unstable. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will collect all the questions and then give the floor to the ambassador. So, Nathalie Loisson, please, the floor is yours.